Welcome back to the day. Today, we're diving deep into the intriguing world of psychic visions and family secrets, exploring how Susan Banks might uncover the shocking truth behind E.J. DiMera's shooting and what that could mean for everyone in Salem. In the bustling town of Salem, where drama never sleeps, Susan Banks has always been a standout with her extraordinary psychic gifts. Remember that time she picked up on Gabby's shady vibes outside the DiMera mansion? It turned out Gabby was armed and furious, plotting revenge against EJ for his betrayal of Rafe Hernandez. That night, Gabby overheard a heated clash between Johnny and EJ, complete with raised voices and simmering tensions, but she bolted before any shots rang out. This left a trail of unanswered questions, as Gabby couldn't pinpoint the actual shooter. To add more layers, we've seen new hints that the mansion's security cameras might have glitched that evening, capturing only shadowy figures and muffled sounds, fueling endless speculation among the residents. Sheriff Jada Hunter's investigation has been a roller coaster, with scant concrete proof against suspects like Johnny DiMera. The main strikes against him, that explosive argument with his father, and some loose-lipped comments about wishing EJ harm. Sentiments echoed by plenty in Salem who have their own grudges against the cunning DiMera patriarch. Interestingly, similar flimsy evidence once targeted Chanel Dupree, thanks to a doctored video EJ himself orchestrated and leaked to Bell. Now, imagine if hidden audio from the mansion revealed more about Johnny's state of mind. He was reeling from family betrayals, perhaps even discovering long-buried DiMera secrets that night, making his outburst more understandable in hindsight. Next week on Days of Our Lives, spoilers hint at Susan stepping up boldly to shield her grandson Johnny from wrongful accusations. With her renowned psychic prowess, she'll likely tune into his aura of innocence, maybe even delving into EJ's foggy memories to reconstruct the chaotic events of the shooting. If Susan taps into EJ's subconscious turmoil, she could stumble upon a bombshell revelation. Back in February, leaks suggested that young Rachel Black was the unintended culprit, a theory bolstered by subtle clues scattered throughout recent episodes. We've invented a fresh angle here. Perhaps Susan envisions a child's toy left near the scene, symbolizing Rachel's innocent yet pivotal involvement, adding a poignant twist to the mystery. Rachel has been showing telltale signs of distress. Nightmares that jolt her awake, unexplained tummy troubles, and waves of anxiety that peak whenever she nears the DiMera estate. Just recently, she confided in Brady Black about feeling queasy staring at the very door where she witnessed Johnny's confrontation with Uncle EJ. Could it be that Rachel, in a moment of confusion, grabbed the gun after Johnny left it behind? Susan might cross paths with the troubled girl and sense a dark undercurrent of guilt radiating from her, perhaps even picking up flashes of the gunshot echoing in Rachel's mind. To expand on this, let's picture Rachel drawing cryptic pictures in therapy sessions, unknowingly sketching the mansion's layout with a red mark where the shooting occurred, hinting at her suppressed memories. Surprisingly, Rachel might possess emerging psychic talents of her own, unrelated to Susan by blood, but amplified by Salem's mystical undercurrents. Recall how she eerily dreamed of her grandfather John Black's demise just before it happened, a premonition that shook the family. In this supernatural hotspot where resurrections and visions are everyday occurrences, it's plausible Rachel could intuitively block Susan's mental probes, shielding her secrets like a fortress. Alternatively, her young mind might have compartmentalized the trauma, burying the memory deep to cope with the horror of accidentally firing the weapon. We've added a creative element. Imagine Rachel collecting magic crystals from the Salem Park, believing they protect her thoughts, which could inadvertently interfere with Susan's readings. At her core, Susan is fiercely protective and would go to extremes to free Johnny from jail, knowing he's been framed for a crime he didn't commit. Johnny's mounting worry over circumstantial clues, like witness statements and timeline discrepancies, has him on edge, despite zero physical evidence linking him. Time with his quirky grandmother could provide emotional solace, perhaps through her homemade cookies infused with positive vibes that help calm his nerves. In a new invented detail, Susan might organize a family seance in the DiMera living room, inviting spirits to reveal the truth, only to have flickering lights point subtly toward Rachel's hidden role. Of course, psychic insights aren't admissible in court, but if Susan's visions accurately finger Rachel, she might share them discreetly with EJ and Belle. Belle, familiar with Susan's track record, could take it seriously. Yet, Susan's loyalty runs deep. Instead of alerting authorities or Belle outright, she'd likely confide first in her son EJ, sparing the child from immediate scrutiny. Reliable leaks indicate Rachel soon opens up to her trusted doctor friend Sarah Horton about the incident, a confession that ripples through Salem. To build on this, envision Sarah using gentle hypnosis techniques during a checkup, unlocking fragments of Rachel's blocked memories and setting the stage for redemption. Finally, spoilers tease that Kristen DiMera steps in heroically, shouldering the blame for Rachel and facing time in Statesville prison. This maternal sacrifice underscores the fierce bonds in the DiMera clan. If Susan's telepathic revelations stun EJ into believing Rachel's involvement, he might confront Kristen privately rather than the girl, preserving family unity amid the chaos. We've woven in an original touch. EJ discovering a forgotten letter from Rachel expressing her anger over past family rifts, which softens his reaction and leads to a heartfelt reconciliation. Stay tuned, Salem fans, as these psychic twists and confessions promise to reshape alliances and uncover long-buried truths in the days ahead. Next, we're exploring the fascinating realm of psychic phenomena in Salem, centering on the one and only Susan Banks, whose extraordinary abilities have shaped countless twists and turns in the show's gripping narratives. Susan Banks, portrayed by the talented Stacey Hayduk, stands out as one of Salem's most enigmatic figures, blending quirky charm with supernatural prowess that often turns the tide in family crises. Her psychic gifts aren't just plot devices. They're deeply woven into her character, influencing everything from personal relationships to high-stakes mysteries. At the core of Susan's abilities is her clairvoyance, allowing her to glimpse future events or hidden truths that elude ordinary senses. This power has manifested in vivid visions, where she receives flashes of insight, often accompanied by cryptic symbols or emotional auras that she interprets with her unique, folksy wisdom. One of Susan's hallmark abilities is her empathic sensing, which lets her tune into the emotions and intentions of those around her, much like reading an invisible energy field. This has proven invaluable in storylines involving deception and betrayal. For instance, during a tense period when EJ DiMera lay in a coma after a mysterious shooting, Susan returned to Salem, her maternal instincts amplified by this empathy. She sensed the turmoil in her son's subconscious, picking up on fragmented memories that modern medicine couldn't access. In a dramatic hospital scene, she placed her hand on EJ's forehead, channeling vibes that hinted at the shooter's identity, adding layers of suspense as she navigated the DiMera family's web of secrets. Expanding on her clairvoyant side, Susan's premonitions often come in dreams or sudden intuitions, forewarning danger to loved ones. Remember the arc where she dreamed of her grandson Johnny DiMera's wrongful accusation in EJ's shooting? Her visions revealed subtle clues, like a child's toy near the crime scene, symbolizing innocence twisted into guilt. This ability tied directly into a storyline exploring Rachel Black's possible involvement, where Susan's powers clashed with the young girl's budding psychic talents. Rachel, unrelated by blood but influenced by Salem's mystical undercurrents, had her own prophetic dream about John Black's demise, creating a psychic standoff that Susan had to navigate carefully. In this plot, Susan's attempts to probe Rachel's mind were met with intuitive blocks, highlighting how her gifts can be challenged by emerging forces in the town. Susan's telepathic connections form another pillar of her supernatural arsenal, enabling her to communicate mentally or influence thoughts subtly. This was evident in her efforts to help Ben Weston and Claire Brady locate the missing Sierra Brady. Susan's visions guided them through foggy clues, sensing Sierra's presence like a distant beacon. She described it as poking around in the psyche, a phrase that captures her whimsical yet effective approach. In a creative expansion of the storyline, imagine Susan organizing a makeshift seance in the DiMera mansion, where flickering candles amplified her telepathy, drawing out hidden memories from witnesses and steering the search toward a dramatic rescue. Not limited to visions and empathy, Susan possesses a form of psychometry, the ability to glean information from objects by touch. This lesser-explored gift shown in a subplot involving a stolen necklace that once belonged to a Salem matriarch. When Julie Williams received it from Doug as an emotional keepsake, Susan handled the item and sensed lingering echoes of past betrayals, tying it to broader family feuds. This ability added depth to her role as a family protector, as she used it to warn of impending doom, like in the arc where she foresaw threats to John Black, prompting her to rush to Salem despite her own vulnerabilities. Throughout the series, Susan's powers have intertwined with Salem's supernatural lore, a town where resurrections and curses are commonplace. Her abilities often amplify during high-emotion events, such as the trial of Johnny DiMera, where she stepped up to defend him against mounting circumstantial evidence. By tuning into EJ's mental vibes, she uncovered shocks, like potential guilt radiating from Rachel, who exhibited anxiety and nightmares post-shooting. In an invented detail to enrich this narrative, Susan might have collected magic crystals from Salem's park, believing they boosted her psychometry, only to discover they resonated with Rachel's own latent gifts, leading to a poignant confrontation that exposed buried traumas. Susan's psychic repertoire also includes aura reading, where she perceives colors and energies around people, indicating their true natures. This was pivotal in a storyline with Gabby Hernandez, where Susan confronted her about lurking outside the DiMera mansion with vengeful intent. Sensing Gabby's dark aura mixed with confusion, Susan pieced together the night's events, including overheated arguments and gunshots, without physical evidence. This ability has often positioned Susan as a moral compass, guiding characters like Belle Black, whom she sensed falling for EJ during his coma, prompting a miraculous awakening. Diving deeper into her storylines, Susan's gifts have sparked maternal sacrifices and heroic interventions. In one arc, her premonitions about EJ's peril drew her back to Salem amid a botched drug heist and family chaos. She chastised EJ for his sins, using telepathy to urge self-reflection, while her empathy helped Marlena Evans during a health scare, sensing something off that hinted at deeper troubles. Creatively, we can envision Susan leading a group meditation session with the Black family, where her aura reading revealed hidden alliances, shifting the power dynamics in Salem's underbelly. Susan's powers aren't without flaws. They're prone to misinterpretation, adding realism to her character. In the Salem Witch Trials-inspired subplot, her visions blurred with historical echoes, confusing past curses with present dangers. This tied into a narrative where she helped uncover a dark force stalking powerful families, her clairvoyance clashing with interference from psychic static in the town. Despite these hurdles, her abilities often lead to redemptions, like when she sensed wickedness in Rachel but chose discretion, confiding in EJ to preserve family bonds. In more recent twists, Susan's return for EJ's trial showcased her full spectrum. Empathic support for Johnny, telepathic probes into EJ's memories, and premonitions that stunned Salem. Leaks suggest she'll continue using these gifts to unravel confessions, such as Rachel opening up to Sarah Horton, potentially leading to Kristen DiMera taking the fall. Adding a fresh layer, picture Susan discovering an old DiMera artifact that enhances her psychometry, revealing long-buried secrets about Stefano's influence on her own powers. Susan's psychic abilities have evolved from quirky novelties to central plot drivers, blending humor with heartache in Days of Our Lives. They've facilitated rescues, exposed villains, and mended fractured relationships, all while highlighting Salem's blend of the mundane and mystical. As storylines unfold, her gifts promise more shocks, like sensing betrayals in the Hernandez family or foreseeing resurrections. Fans adore how these powers humanize her, turning potential chaos into moments of profound connection. Stay tuned, dear viewers, for more psychic revelations from Susan Banks that keep